Let me just.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we're back. That's why you're muted. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. Can you hear me now? Hello, ladies.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me start again. Kathy Parlitzis of Your CBD Store in Mount Kisco is here with us today. She has had a career in sales designing, mixed media art trainer, and is the best-selling author of Champions, Knockout Strategies for Health, Wealth, and Success. On her quest for natural alternatives in her health journey, she opened the first Your CBD store in Westchester. Kathy is in the store and she partners with customers to create regimens for every lifestyle and aids in helping people choose the right products for their needs through education and transparency. The store sells award-winning SunMed and Sunflora products formulated with the highest quality organic non-GMO hemp grown in the USA. From wellness products to makeup products, all with CBD, she will take us on a journey of how to feel and look your best. Kathy has brought so many samples here, so you will all be the happy recipients of those. And we've had a few minutes of entertainment from her. She's terrific. What a personable lady. So Kathy, welcome to the Manor Club, and we look forward to listening to your lecture.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to share our screen.
Kathy, you need to unmute.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. We have to separate ourselves because we're reverbing back. Can you guys hear me now? I think you can. Okay, so thanks for everyone. I'm happy to be here. I am, as Celeste said, the owner of the store. I had terrible arthritis, and just in my quest to help that ailment, I found CBD, and after trying so many different brands, and it literally changed my life. So that's why I opened the store. So in the chat box, if there are any questions that you have as I'm going through my presentation, just put them in the chat box and I will answer them at the end. So this is going to be the what, how, and why of CBD. She's already given you my whole background and introduction. Just a little fun fact that we spoke about. I did an episode for the Food Network where I baked my famous biscotti that my neighbor made for me. So she said I should mention that to you guys. It's called Better with Age is the episode and the show, and the Hail Mary biscotti is the episode. So with that having been said, we'll move right into the seminar. So what is the difference between CBD and marijuana? We'll cover that. What is the endocannabinoid system? What is CBD? Where does it come from? Why and how does it work? What are the different types? What is the best way to take it? How to determine if the product is safe, and then questions. So I left 50 sample bags here. It has information in here about the product, about CBD, what products we sell, and there are 2 samples in there for you. The large candy is a gummy ring that's 25 milligrams, and the small one is hard candy that's 10. So, and my card is in there. If you have any questions at all, please let us know. I'd be happy to answer them for you. Okay. So hemp is of first necessity to the wealth and protection of the country. Thomas Jefferson said that. So hemp has been around for literally thousands of years. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Ben Franklin took part in the creation of the hemp industry. The Declaration of Independence was signed on hemp paper, and it takes 1 acre of hemp to yield the same amount of paper as 4 acres of trees. Really interesting fun facts that I found out and had no idea. And then hemp was planted after the Chernobyl disaster because it actually cleans what's in the soil. So I just put up a couple of slides. The slides are very information heavy so that you guys can read them later. I'm not necessarily going to touch on every single thing in the slides, but I wanted to give you as much information as possible because there really is a negative connotation to hemp. If you had asked me a few years ago, I would have been like, no, not interested. So I learned more and more as I delve into the plant and the product and its uses. I will talk about the differences between hemp and cannabis, but when I talk about cannabis during the presentation, I mean hemp, because they're actually sister plants. Hemp has under 0.3% THC. You cannot get high. You get the benefits of the CBD, whereas the cannabis that most people are thinking of is marijuana that can get you high. So just in your mind, when you hear me say cannabis, I'm referring to the hemp plant. So they make clothing and industrial materials and all kinds of things. And the folklore is that back in the day, in the 30s or 40s, when DuPont plastics first came about, they were upset that there was so much usage of hemp that there wasn't enough demand for the synthetic version of it with their products. So they got together with William Randolph Hearst, who was in the lumber industry, and 1 acre of hemp yields the same amount of paper as 4 acres of lumber. So they got together and had it deemed a Schedule I drug, meaning it is only harmful, has no medicinal benefits, is addictive, causes psychosis, and none of those things are true. So we're still trying to educate people to overcome that social perception. I mean, I have people who come into the store who can't sleep and they take Ambien, but they're terrified of the plant. So just think that's the lens through which we're going to go through the education. So the difference is hemp has very low THC, under 0.3%. You cannot get high from it. And marijuana has higher THC and does have that psychoactive component. One is not psychoactive, the other is. To have marijuana in the state of New York, you need a medical card, which is pretty expensive, although it is recreational in 14 states. Hemp, on the other hand, no medical card, is legal in most states and has many different uses. So what are cannabinoids? So there are over 100 of them. The most well-known are THC, CBD, CBN, et cetera. They're the active components in the cannabis flower that give it its medicinal benefits. So these plant-based cannabinoids we call phytocannabinoids, and they imitate the cannabinoids that our bodies naturally produce, which are endocannabinoids, and they stimulate the endocannabinoid system, which we'll talk about. So there's more than 100 types of them, and they are still learning what they do and which cannabinoid affects which receptor in the body. So just to give you an overview of what the endocannabinoid system is, it's basically a group of receptors throughout our brain and central nervous system and in peripheral parts of our body. Endo is endogenous, meaning from the body, cannabinoid referring to the chemical that activates it. So every mammal that has a vertebrate has an endocannabinoid system, humans, animals, fish, and they think of the endocannabinoid system as a master regulatory system that keeps your body at homeostasis. That's the job of the endocannabinoid system. So people say, well, what should I feel? It isn't a cause and effect. Like if you were to say ingest marijuana, you would immediately feel a high associated with it. With CBD, it's more subtle than that. You can get the benefit from it. You don't necessarily feel it. So other doctors describe it as a braking system that can slow down various things in the body, pain per system, motility, memory, sleep, stress, anxiety, inflammation. So all pretty important things, especially as you get older. So just another photo of some of the receptors that are in the body. And as you can see, there are so many of them. So how did they discover the ECS? In the 1990s, Dr. Raphael Mechoulam discovered two main receptors that connect the endocannabinoids in our body, and they produce those plant-based cannabinoids like THC and CBD that are found in cannabis. So those receptors are known as CB1 and CB2. So receptors are kind of locks and a key, and they feel that these receptors mitigate damage that's done to the body, so it does return it to that balance. And they believe it also has some mental health things because it does aid in mood and anxiety, depression, and things like that. So those CB1 and CB2 receptors are in different places and respond to different things. So again, CB1 receptors found mostly in the brain, CB2 mostly in the immune system. So there's something called the bliss molecule. Our two endocannabinoids are anandamide and 2-AG, and those are the ones that your body produces. So AG is found more in the brain, whereas 2-AG more in the body, and they're both capable of binding to those receptors. So the bliss molecule is anandamide, and people associate it to the runner's high, where you would achieve it and then it dissipates. So with the bliss molecule, your body floods those receptors with that anandamide and 2-AG, and then an enzyme breaks it down pretty quickly. So it doesn't really stay in your body for very long. When you take a cannabinoid, a phytocannabinoid, it helps that to stay in those receptors longer and gives it more time to do its job. So CBD became legal in the Farm Bill of 2018, agricultural hemp, and the stipulation was it has to have less than 0.3% THC. It's actually 0.3. The slide's incorrect. I apologize for that. So CBD from industrial hemp rather than what the USDA defined as marijuana is what makes it legal. And it comes with the backing of the medical community, the World Health Organization, the nursing community, the veterinary community. It's becoming so widely accepted and used, but it's like the Wild West. There's not a lot of regulation, which is why it's really important for you to know what to look for when you buy a product. And we'll get to that. Just to give you a little brief history on where we came from this big prohibition with cannabis to understanding what it can do and the benefits medically. During the war on drugs in the 80s, the government wanted to prove that marijuana causes brain damage. So they spent tens of millions of dollars in research to prove that. But what it showed was that that endocannabinoid system was there and functional and what its purpose was, and that it actually protects the brain when it's activated by plant cannabinoids like THC and CBD. So that was a major, major breakthrough. Then in the 90s, they started to share research with other countries, and they were in Europe and Israel especially, they're way ahead of us in this research. So then in the summer of 23, Sanjay Gupta from CNN did a special on a little girl named Charlotte Fiji, and she had something called Dravet syndrome, where she had hundreds of seizures a day. And they found that this CBD, high CBD, low THC, could reduce her seizures to only a couple a month. And that started to change public perception of the CBD world and even the cannabis world. So what are some of the most common cannabinoids? CBD, cannabidiol, is the most well-known, and it was discovered in the 40s. It's one of more than 100 cannabinoids and accounts for 40% of the cannabinoids that are extracted from the plant. THC is another one that's pretty well known. That's tetrahydrocannabinol, also called Delta 9, and that's responsible for the psychoactive effects that you would get in marijuana. CBG, cannabigerol, is kind of the parent molecule. It's like what CBD is before it grows up. And cannabigerol has shown that it has neurological benefits. So there are different things that that's used for, and different formulations for people that have neurological issues. They would go more toward a product that did have CBD, but a higher concentration of CBG than you would normally find. CBN, or cannabinol, has calming properties. So you'll see that in sleep tinctures. We actually have one that's mixed with lavender and valerian root, and that's to promote healthy sleep. And the biggest newcomer on the block is Delta 8, which is THCA, which is also found in hemp and is legal. And that binds with the CB1 receptors in your endocannabinoid system. And it does have a structure that's similar to THC. However, its interaction with the ECS is different, and those small changes change the outcome. So it's less potent on the psychoactivity scale. So I have not tried it yet. It literally just arrived at the store this morning before I got there. But say for people who really, I have people who come in, they literally are going through things so much that they can't comprehend what I'm saying. They're just like, I can't even speak. I'm in so much pain right now. So they are looking for something beyond what we have. So CBD has zero psychoactive component. Marijuana, high psychoactive component. Delta 8 has been described as the bridge between CBD and the dispensary, but it causes a body high without affecting your clarity and focus and the brain high. So not personally familiar with it, but you'll be seeing more and more of that because it's legal. It's, again, like the Wild West, the synthetics that are out there are really off the charts. What our company is more of a plant science company. They wrapped that Delta 8 molecule in the CBD and the other cannabinoids to kind of soften it and create a more consistent delivery. So it's very important how things are formulated. So what is CBD and how does it benefit you? We are very careful in the claims that we make, because right now, unless I can give you a study to back up what I say, the FDA can fine me $20,000 for associating my product with an outcome. So I wouldn't say it treats, cures. Basically, CBD aids the endocannabinoid system. So that's where we are with that. So just go on the top and try to so cannabidiol or CBD, over 100 of them in the plant. They have medicinal benefits. So what people are finding is they don't need that THC. They don't need to be high. They don't want to be high. They want that benefit. And a lot of people that come to my store either used to be cannabis users, or they are, and now they're drug tested, or they can use it at home, but they can't use it during the day. So it really runs the gamut of everyone and what their usage is. But we specifically address the CBD without the psychological component. So from an educational standpoint, the CB2 receptors are involved in your immune system. And so there are your medical benefits. So what are the different types of CBD? There's an isolate, and there's a full spectrum, a broad spectrum, and a whole plant. So an isolate is only CBD. They basically just pull all of the CBD out of the product. That's not really a great thing. There's a bell curve with an isolate. It has to be the perfect dosing, because if it's a little too much or not enough, it just doesn't work. So that's a cheaper extraction. It's just a single molecule. And you'll see in some of the pharmaceutical drugs, like they came out with Epidiolex to treat seizures. That is the approach, is that single molecule. we believe that a full spectrum product is better. I always believe Mother Nature knows better than anybody what works and what doesn't. And we don't always understand why things work, but we will always find out Mother Nature knew what she was doing. So a full spectrum product has that trace amount of THC, that 0.3%. Again, you cannot get high from it. It's phytocannabinoid rich from plants. It has those other beneficial cannabinoids, CBG, CBN, CBV, CBC. It has flavonoids and terpenes are the things like, for instance, it makes a lemon smell like a lemon. So they're kind of, I call them like flavors. And then there's the essential amino acids. Broad spectrum, the way we formulate it, instead of just removing the CBD, what we do is we have all of the other cannabinoids and that plant material in there. All we've done is extracted the THC. And we use a clean CO2 extraction method because you don't want residual solvents left behind. So it also has those flavonoids and terpenes. Whole plant is something that you're starting to see more of. Again, more of the plant matter. It's like your full spectrum has that 0.03% THC, but it also has a little more of the plant, some of the chlorophyll, has more of an earthier taste. And they believe that that allows for a more synergistic effect. And they call that the entourage effect, which is just the sum is greater than the whole of its parts. So that's the whole plant and full spectrum. But again, we do the broad spectrum with that plant material. So how do you take it? There's tinctures, topicals, sprays, water solubles, capsules, gummies, pet products, with tinctures for them, treats for them, beauty products. It goes on and on and on and on. So low and slow is always a good way to begin something. You would start with the lowest dose. Research seems to show that, you can't overdose, you can't get addicted, you can't get high, but you can waste the product. And good high quality CBD is not inexpensive. So you don't want to waste the product. Your goal is always to take as little of something as possible to get the desired effect. And then we always say the disclaimer with any new health regimen, check with your doctor. So there are different products that I like to call foundational, situational, and supplemental. We have 150 SKUs in the store, so we don't want people to come in and glaze over with their eyes spinning. They don't know what I'm talking about. So it kind of makes you understand a little bit better that this is how you take them. So foundational is a product that you would take daily, about 2 to 3 times per day. Situational, you can either put it in you or on you, like a topical that you would rub on, and that's as needed. And then there's supplemental, which you would take in addition to one of those foundational products. So the tinctures or hemp supplements, and depending upon the day of the week, the FDA makes us call them something different. That's the most well-known delivery system. You put it under your tongue. It goes through the sublingual gland. You hold it there for 90 seconds. No one knows that. And then they put it under their tongue for a few seconds and they swallow it. Now you've wasted probably 60 to 80% of it. If it stays under your tongue for 90 seconds, you'll get that maximum benefit from that. And then it takes a little bit longer to begin working, but once it starts working, it stays in your body about 8 to 10 hours. And that is a foundational product taken morning and night. It's better if you take it with food because the fats help metabolize and help it go through your body better. Water soluble CBD is a product that basically starts with that same oil, and then they just kept breaking it down and emulsified it to make it more bioavailable to your body. And that can be used as a foundational product 2 to 3 times a day or on an as needed basis because it normally works in 5 to 7 minutes, stays in your body about 4 to 6 hours. We always say quick in, quick out. So the longer something starts to take, the longer it sticks around, the quicker it works, the faster it leaves. So you basically put it in water or juice or tea, and then, or you spray it under your tongue, different delivery systems. And then you either put it in your water bottle and sip it over time. I like to do it in a shot. So, it's there, you've taken it and it's working. And that's foundational and situational. So your capsules, just a pre-measured dose of the same thing, that's foundational. Edibles or gummies, this is everyone's favorite one because they love candy. It is in candy. I always tell people, if you want candy, buy candy. It's an easy way. I keep a bottle of the gummy bears in my purse so that if I feel like I need it, I just take a quick one, but I do the foundational oil products. So it's more of a supplemental. There are people who take the gummies a couple of times a day. That's the way they want to take it. They take about an hour to get in your system, and then they stay in a good 6 to 8 hours. That's foundational, situational, and supplemental. Topicals, again, go on your body. They're in targeted areas. You massage them in. They also have usually other ingredients that are helpful, like arnica and MSM, and that combination allows quick absorption and lasts a few hours. So that's a situational product. In beauty products, we have a collagen cream, moisturizers, night serum, hand cream, hand sanitizer, lip balms, bath soaks. It just goes on, and different benefits, it's when you put it on topically, it doesn't go systemically through your body, but definitely does have benefits as well. Vapes, originally when I opened the store, I said, nope, I don't want to carry them, not good. But what I found was, for people who really need that immediate relief, that's one of the things that is helpful. It literally is immediate. But the really important thing with vapes is you want to make sure that there are no toxic thinning agents in there, like propylene glycol, polyethylene glycol, and other harmful ingredients, which is why a QR code is so important. And you'll see in your bag also what's in the label. The QR code on the back of our products and other reputable products will take you to an independent lab report that shows you what's in your product. I am not saying that if it doesn't have it, it means it's not a good product, but I wouldn't personally ingest anything unless I could verify that what I've been told is actually true. I was telling Celeste that there was a study done in Connecticut where they randomly pulled 100 bottles of CBD off the shelves. And what they found was 50 of them had no CBD at all, which is why a lot of people have CBD that they think doesn't work. 75% didn't have on the bottle what was in the bottle, which could mean you failed a drug test and you're arrested. So you want to be careful of that. And a lot of it had toxins and pesticides and things like that. So always look for that QR code. CBG flour you can sprinkle it over your salad. You can eat it raw. Some people smoke it. They use it for cooking. It's the most pure of all of the delivery systems. So why organic is very important for CBD. We talked about hemp being a natural cleaner. It sucks toxins out of the ground. So it absorbs what is in the soil. So you want to be really careful about what type of CBD. So the USDA certification, the organic certification, is a rigorous, expensive process. And the reason that people go through it is so that you can look at that label and know that no toxins are in there, no poor practices were used in the creation of that product. It's non-GMO, they don't use sewage sludge and all of those things. So there's a lot of prohibited substances and a lot of oversight with organic. So all CBD is not the same. So when you get out there, how do you choose a product? I can tell you, when I go shopping at the supermarket and I have to choose eggs, I'm very confused. I don't know the difference between cage-free, and so I just buy organic. So you're looking for a product that's properly sourced, properly extracted, and properly formulated, and you want a third-party lab tested. You could like me a lot, but you don't have to believe what I say. You want, trust but verify. You want that verification. So you want it to come from clean soil. You want that organic certification. You want a clean extraction. You don't want to shop solely based on price, because obviously higher quality and purity are usually associated with a higher cost. You want that certificate of analysis, again, that lab report, and that is the law. That will become the law, I believe, April 1st in New York State, where you have to have that QR code. So we've always had it since the company was started. Also beware of companies that make claims. We are not allowed to make claims. I've seen claims with everything from this to it cures cancer. My daughter thinks I think it's the miracle substance. I do. It was life-changing for me. I've seen and heard anecdotal things that really warm my heart, but you want to be careful if a company is claiming crazy things. And you want a company that's responsive to your questions and your inquiries. So, which is why we love that we're an actual store where you can come in for education. And it's not just an online store that throws a product at you. So things to keep in mind. It is not an exact science. It's tied to metabolism. So for instance, if my husband eats a pizza, he doesn't gain any weight and he stays thin. If I look at my husband eating pizza, I gain 5 pounds. That's the way it's metabolized in your body. So I think of it like a science experiment. Only you can determine what works best for your body. So you start low and slow. The average person needs 25 to 50 milligrams a day. For instance, I take between 75 and 100. Depends on what's going on with you and what you take it for. So you go low and slow. And when you get to that spot where you're like, you know what, this is it, I feel good. Then sometimes I like to play with the product a little bit. Can I take a little bit less of this product and still have that same desired effect? Because you don't want to waste the product. And then don't give up. If you try the oil and it doesn't work, try the water soluble. If that doesn't work, try the gummies. If that doesn't work, try the flour. We've seen people who literally go through each one until they find the one that works best for them. We do a money back guarantee. So we're partnering with you to make sure that you feel safe enough to try different products, because we really want to help you find something that'll work. So side effects are extremely rare, but as with any new regimen, speak with your doctor to confirm that it's a green light with any pharmaceuticals you might be taking. Again, we have those sample packs. And if you call the store, just mention the Manor Club for an additional 10% discount. So to summarize, the ECS is a major regulatory system responsible for keeping your body at homeostasis. CBD is that cannabinoid that's found in hemp and cannabis that has very many therapeutic applications. And CBD works with your ECS to prolong the benefits of your body's endocannabinoids. You can put CBD in you and on you. Full spectrum with the trace amount of THC is better than an isolate. So you're going to look for a full spectrum or a broad spectrum with a full complement of cannabinoids and terpenes. And you're going to choose products made from certified organic CBD with an accessible, independent lab report that confirms the safety of the product. So that is basically the presentation. And so now if anybody has any questions, I would be happy to answer them for you. So just unmute yourself if you have a question. It's a lot of information, that I know. So I feel like Ferris Bueller. Anyone? No questions. I guess I did my job then. So what people sometimes say when they come into the store, they look at all these products and they just get overwhelmed, and somebody would come in for one ailment and somebody would come in for another. They all affect that endocannabinoid system. That's the purpose. So it doesn't necessarily matter what your issue is. The solution is the same. So memory, CBG is something, again, they've all been associated with memory. CBG has those neurological benefits. So we like that product, but there are reports that have mentioned memory as one of the things that people use CBD for. So I would just say to try, I have different anecdotally people that come to the store that tell me different things about products that they take. What works for one doesn't necessarily work for the other, but whatever the problem is, the solution is really the same with some tweaks in there. We have a few different products, but they basically all have that CBD as the base cannabinoid profile to affect that ECS system. So, any other questions?
No?
No. Well, thank you so much for giving me your time today. They will be saving the slides for you guys so that you can refer back to them. If you have any questions, my card is in the sample bags that I've left here. And, you know, we are happy to answer whatever questions you have. Yes, the capsules are a pill form. It's just a little capsule. Yeah, so it comes in pills and the oils and the water solubles and the gummies and a bunch of different delivery systems.
Somebody had a question. It must have been that. Did you see the question?
Yeah,
come
that
up?
one just popped up.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Am I-
I'm going to mute.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies. That was quite a wonderful program. Thank you so much. She has such an energetic personality. And Randy and I are sitting here getting like all excited listening to her. It was very informative and very helpful. And I think that anyone who was on the fence about possibly trying to use CBD now has a good base from which they can operate. You were so knowledgeable and just kept going, and it was fun. So I hope the ladies enjoyed it. I encourage you all to be sure to stop by the club, call Jessica and she'll let you know what's a good time, and pick up your samples. And do try to stop at the store. Mount Kisco is not that far, and you could carpool and then go to lunch and also get treatments for yourselves. So that would be very good. I think that it's a worthwhile trip, and the weather is getting better. Do you have a parking lot, Kathy?
We do. We have a 75-car parking lot in the back. And if they want to call the store and place an order, we could do like a FaceTime, and I could deliver things to the store. I could come down here like once a week and deliver to them.
Did you ladies all hear Kathy speaking? No? I don't. She said that she has a 75-car parking lot. If you want to order online, she can deliver it. And someone who's a member of the club knew that she was doing a lecture today and called her directly and ordered product, correct?
Yeah.
So we're off to a good start, and I hope you will all support her and help yourselves. I mean, I'm going to go up and see if they have the magic cream to get rid of wrinkles. I hope so. Any further questions, ladies? We can still ask a few if you like. No?
Maybe you'd like to talk about the pet product.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Just let me tell, Ann Rendy is here and she's asked about the pet product. So I'm going to go off and Kathy's going to go on and discuss that.
So yes, you can give CBD to your pets. The really important thing to know about that is no THC, that it can cause seizures in animals. So I have a customer who gives it to her parrot. He was screeching uncontrollably and they couldn't sleep. And, you know, we looked up how much to give the parrot and she gave it to him and immediately sent me a photograph of it, gave him little drops. So they have tinctures for dogs and cats where you could squirt it right in their mouth, or we have treats. We have cat treats, dog treats, you know, wavy bacon cheese, you know, bacon hearts, peanut butter. I wish they had those kind of treats for me.
Really?
So they have all of those different ones, but the really important thing that you have to know is just no THC. So, but it is safe for animals.
You do it, just. Oh.
You got it.
Any further questions, ladies?
Yes, I have one.
Ann has one other question.
I'm sitting in the corner here. You mentioned briefly memory, and I'd like to know more about not only the memory, but ADHD.
Okay.
What products would be good for that?
Okay.
You all heard.
So Anne was asking about memory again and about ADHD. So CBG has the neurological benefits. So you'll find CBG oil and gummies are promoting focus and feeling awake. They're a daytime product because you don't want to be kept awake at night. At nighttime, you could use CBN, which is the calming one, but CBG has been known to have those neurological benefits and help with focus. Memory specifically, I'm not sure about that, but again, I have seen memory addressed with general CBD, but the focus and awake product is CBG, and we do have that in an oil and gummies as well.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else? No?
Topical doesn't work immediately for pain, but over time. Okay. You want to mute you and I'll unmute me? Okay, so the topical should work within minutes. Our topical is #1 in the industry. It is the reason I opened the store. It should work, or it's not going to work for you. It's not one of those things that have to build up in your system. You should put it on. It takes minutes, lasts hours. In your little sample bag, there is a card that talks about, I'm sorry if I'm crunching this and making all kinds of noise. Of course, it's not, yeah, here it is. Okay, so there's a card that talks about the topical, and it has this little sample here. This is called a snap pack. So what you do is you pull that off, and then it has the QR code on the back, and you'll snap that in half like this and squeeze that out and put that on, and that should work within minutes, and it should last a few hours.
Pain.
So
Okay.
I'm not allowed to say that word,
Oh.
but
Discomfort?
anything that's bothering you, yes, you would put that on, rub that in, and hopefully, you know, that will take a few minutes and last you a few hours.
More questions, girls? No? I have one question. You know, every time you go to CVS, you see this big thing, Hempvana, this cream that they, do you know anything about that? I mean, is it,
So I don't know about that product specifically. What I do know is hemp seeds have no CBD in them at all. The effective CBD is extracted from the flower and maybe the leaves, but mainly the flower, but the stalks and the stems, no, it's cheaper. That's sometimes you'll see products that are made with that. You don't really know, and they'll put in a little bit of the good oil, but you'll see it in like hemp hair stuff and things like that. Not necessarily. I mean, you can use kind of the leftover hemp and do that kind of stuff as well. So you don't really know what you're getting. I'm sure it has some benefit because, as I said, it's been used for thousands of years, but specifically, I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Okay. Could I?
Yeah.
does hemp thicken your hair or do anything like that?
I have no idea.
You're on.
Ladies, are there any more questions? No? Well, if not, then thanks a million, Kathy. I mean, it's worth the trip up just to listen to her talk, and she has such a great personality. You'll have a fun afternoon and have a lunch as well. So not there, but at another place in Mount Kisco.
I'm between two restaurants.
She's between two restaurants. This is heaven. In any event, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. You were a wealth of information, and I think everybody enjoyed it. And the ones that could not be with us live will look at it tonight or tomorrow night or whenever it's up.
Terrific.
Thanks a million,
Thank
Kathy,
you.
for joining us.